Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be looking at more at Aberrations Lore through the eyes of the graduate students. Their story takes place shortly after Helena and the rest of the group make it to Extinction. So with that being said, let's get into it. Well, we ain't in Kentucky no more, I can tell you that. Never heard of a cave this big, and I'm sure as hell ain't heard of no glowing rocks. Even Uncle Chester be pinching himself if he could see this, and he thinks a tribe of mutant squirrels runs the government. Good news, I ain't in this boat alone. Bad news, I'm sharing it with a bunch of know-it-all city boys and one quiet city girl. Maybe they know what's what in a classroom, but they're all wet behind the ears when it comes to real survival, men versus nature and all that. Looks like it'll be up to me to save the day then. Like my papa always said, if you want a cat skin right, do it your damn self. One of these days, I'm gonna knock Trent's flapping jaw right back to Jersey. Boy thinks the sun comes up just to hear him crow. Not that the sun rises regularly around here, but y'all get the point. And Emanu don't know why everyone listens to him. I'm the one putting food on the table. Back home, if we didn't hunt, we didn't eat. So I just made myself a bow and went to work. Nothing to it. At least Amelia's helped me make some tools. She's timid as a mouse, but sharp as those picks we fashioned. They ought to help us get past these rock walls. Ain't too sure about giving one to that Rusky fella, Boris. But like my cousin always said, keep your enemies close and a gun closer. Hell yeah, I bagged him. So there I was, stalking through the bush like a lion, or a bear lion. Anyway, we'd come up over that rock wall a while back, so I figured I'd rustle up some supper. So that's when I saw him, the biggest damn rat to ever live. I mean, this fellow was so huge, his footsteps sounded like he'd turned the ground into a drum. But I caught him dead in the eye. Rat meat ain't exactly a T-bone steak, but it'll feed us for days. Bet this gets everyone kissing my boots like they covered in honey, even Emanu. Like my ma's great aunt Bessie always said, respect ain't given, it's eaten. It ain't right, I killed that varmint that pretty boy Trent was stuffing his face with, and he's still got the stones to laugh at me just 'cause I stumbled over my words again. So what if I can't talk like Emanu? What's Trent done? Earned some trophies playing pigskin back home? I've been keeping us alive. Still shouldn't have made a fuss over it. Boris had to hold me back, or else I would have. And now Trent's avoiding me. Emmanuel's scolding me, and Amelia's too scared to even look at me. It's like my second cousin, twice removed, Ernest, always said, if you lose your temper, you best make sure you find it, because tempers are mighty expensive. I can't stand it no more. They think I don't hear all that whispering about how I ain't stable, how I can't be trusted. Well, fine. These new caves are even stranger than before, with all the glowing and whatnot, and I bet they've got even nastier critters lurking about. If I can bag one myself, they'll realize I'm as trustworthy as the day is long. Maybe Amelia will even speak to me again. Like my ancestor, the great pioneer Lord William Stanford III always said, the only way a man can be a man is that if he's man enough to know when it's time to be a man. And right now, it's time for Rusty Stanford to be a man. Oh, Rusty, you idiot. If I ever get the chance to return this journal, I want you to know that we always trusted you. We were just worried about the pressure you put on yourself. Even Trent misses you, despite all of his stupid alpha male chest thumping. Boris is the real jerk here. Everyone else wants to look for you, but he keeps insisting that it's not worth it. How can he be so heartless? It's like he's a robot or something. He hardly even seems frightened by this place. I wish I could say the same. I feel like I'm trapped in a nightmare, and each day gets worse. Please be out there, Rusty. We need to stick together and find a way home. God, I just want to go home. How do Trent and Emmanuel stay so motivated? The other day we built a series of zip lines to help us get around, and it felt like they did all the heavy lifting. Even though I'm an engineering student compared to them, I've done next to nothing since Rusty disappeared. I'm not even good at sleeping anymore. I wake up every second afraid that those wolf creatures we spotted might tear through our makeshift shelter and devour us. It's all I can think about. All the different ways we could die and all the ways it would be my fault. Being such a burden on everyone is the grossest feeling ever, so why can't I do anything about it? I'm still not sure how we did it, but Emmanuel turned one of those nasty wolf bat things into a pet. It even lets him ride on its back, and it can climb across the zip lines we set up. I think that made everyone a little more confident, so we decided to range out further in search of Rusty. Unfortunately, we found him. Poor Rusty. The first thing we spotted was a bloody shirt, and then I can't even describe the rest. Just thinking about it makes me want to puke again. Boris thinks that whatever got him might still be in the area, but I just don't have the strength to keep moving. After today, this all seems so hopeless. We're all going to die here. What did I do to deserve this hell? I've tried to be a good student, a good friend, a good sister. What did I do? Those vicious little demons are still below us, waiting to rip us apart, just like Emmanuel's pet. We managed to run to a coven wall and climb up this alcove using our picks, but now we're trapped. This is it. This is where we die. Boris yelled at me after we escaped, said I'm the one to blame. He's probably right. We hadn't moved that far from where we found Rusty because I was too tired, and we didn't find a better place to hide because I was too scared and slow. I've killed us. God help me. I've killed all of us. I've never been brave or adventurous. I was that kid who always coloured between the lines and followed every rule, no matter how arbitrary. No risks, no mistakes, just good grades and a forgettable face. I'm still not brave, but I won't die like this. I won't let this gross, trembling wretch be the last version of me to draw breath. Maybe I've been worthless to the group in life, like Boris says, but my death won't be. Once I've finished this entry, I'm going to stuff this notebook into the first pack I see and tell everyone to make a break for it while I lure those things away. I probably won't make it very far, but if any of you are reading this, then I guess it was enough. Goodbye. I'm sorry. Pawn sacrifices itself to defend the king. At least Amelia Muller realized that in the end. That is all that can be said for her. The others think me callous, but this is simply the way of things. Even amongst the demons, these rules apply. For example, the largest of the pack that slew Amelia summoned and commanded its lesser brethren. However, I do not think that was a king. No, it served something grander. I could feel its bond, the same bond that I felt in this strange metal that inhabits these caves. It's almost like a melody of some kind, a siren song drifting up from the depths. Down there is where the true king lies, and I intend to find him. Though our number was once 5, only 2 of us have ever mattered. Only Emmanuel and I possess the strength of will and presence of mind to discover this place's secrets. If he can discard his inner weakness, perhaps we may find it together. If he cannot, then in the end, it will come to blood. The more he wastes his time comforting that brainless mule Trent, the more I fear will be the latter. A shame, but I will do what I must. The deeper we delve, the stronger I hear the call, and I am destined to answer it. This labyrinth is mine to conquer. Of nothing else have I ever been so certain. When I called this place a labyrinth, it occurred to me that eventually I would have to face its Minotaur, though I had not expected that day to come so soon. It was a towering savage hellspawn, with wicked claws and a tail like a great spiny serpent. We were fending off another pack of those hairless demons when it burst from the ground, roaring and hissing. Needless to say, we immediately fled. Yet fortune is often born of chaos. In our haste, we lost some sense of our direction and stumbled upon something wondrous. A glowing metal artifact, unlike anything I've ever seen. If these caverns are the labyrinth, and that alien creature the Minotaur, then surely this is its treasure. Yes, I understand now. All of this is by design. This place, these creatures, our arrival, he orchestrated all as a test. This artifact isn't the prize, it is simply a token. Proof that I am worthy. It is the key that will unlock the path below, and at its end I will find the king. There I will find the master. Although if this is the key, then where is the door? That terminal we passed by earlier? Yes, that must be it. I need only convince the others to head in that direction. And then, it is, as I said before, sacrifices must be made. That is the way of things. That is the way of the master. I said I was willing to die, and that appears to be the natural course of action. On the way back from the terminal, I was attacked by a pack of ravagers and neglectingly injured. I was so foolish to try and rush back. My injuries are far too severe to make it back to camp in good health. When we were scouting locations for a camp, we were malnourished In a state of clumsiness, Rusty slipped and fell a great distance off the edge of a cliff. He pleaded with me to carry him, but I knew this wasn't a reasonable request. It would have been foolish to let his body go to waste. Now I have the same fate. Although it won't all be a waste, it seems I found a clue to unlocking the terminals. An artifact. Trent and Emmanuel must continue where I have failed. Unlocking the key to existence. Not so dumb now, am I, Boris? Hope you felt real smart while you were bleeding out, bro. Emmanuel still thinks he could have talked Psycho down, but I say screw him. The dude attacked Emmanuel out of nowhere, then ran off to this weird-ass room. He completely lost it. Crazy or not, though, he may have been onto something. Emmanuel says this place Boris found might be related to that glowy thing he was constantly staring at. Something about a series of keys? I don't know. I'll let Emmanuel do the thinking. I'm the big, handsome muscle of this operation, you know? Hey, writing all this down actually feels pretty good. Think I'll do more often, at least when Emmanuel doesn't need to study Boris's notes. Coach always said that the key to being a good running back is always following your blockers. And my bro Emmanuel here, he's like my lead blocker, a real stud fullback. Sticking with him's the only reason any of us made it past day one in this place, man. He's got all his shit figured out. If we find the rest of these alien artifacts, whatevers, that terminal Boris found will open up a door and we're out of here. Don't know how he knows all that. Dude, just a straight genius. We're gonna start by checking out those buildings I spotted this afternoon. At least they look like buildings. But who would have built them? No way anyone would live in this batshit crazy place. Holy crap, I have a laser gun. An actual real ass pew pew laser gun. Okay, so check it out. Turns out there were way more of these buildings than we thought, like a small town's worth. Whoever actually used them was long gone way before we got there, but they left behind a ton of sweet gear. There's even these crazy space beds that helped Emmanuel heal the wounds he got from Boris. Wish Amelia was here to help figure out how all this stuff works. Well, anyway, we're going to use this place as our new home base while we go searching for these artifacts. Between Emmanuel's pets and these badass new guns, things are finally looking up. So far, so good. We're making tons of progress on these artifacts, and I've been feeling extra pumped lately. I think all my hype is even run me off on Emmanuel. The other day, we spent like an hour joking about who's going to play us when we sell our story to Hollywood. Haven't seen him that chill since before we lost Rusty. Pretty soon, we're going to head deeper than we have ever been to find the last of the artifacts. It won't be a tropical vacation or anything, but our teamwork is on point. Right now, so bring it on. The lasers help too. Teamwork and frickin' lasers, baby! Screw these big alien things, bro. Like, the giant claws and teeth aren't enough. Apparently they can stab you with their tail too. That's such bullshit. I could have totally taken if it hadn't cheated like that. Easy. We were able to get away before we did anything worse at least, and Emmanuel says my wound wasn't too bad. There was no poison either. So why do I feel like I ate the most questionable burrito of all time? I mean, damn, this really hurts. It feels like my stomach is trying to jump out of my skin. Hopefully, I can sleep it off. Where 5 once stood, 1 remains. Trent is dead and I am alone. By the time I killed the devil that tore its way out of his body, his hazard suit had been reduced to bloody rags. It was hard to bear. Even before arriving in this place, I had seen the cost of war. But I am not like Boris or the soldiers that guarded my family's estate. I cannot look into the face of death with cold and unwavering eyes. Yet even in this darkest hour, I must push onward. For the sake of my fallen comrades, I will endure. However long the night, the dawn will break, and I intend to see it. Boris's notes remind me of those who still practice Vodun in my homeland. The master he speaks of is like a spirit of this land, and these artifacts are its talismans or fetishes. Perhaps these were the delusional scrawlings of a madman, but I cannot dismiss them. Despite his betrayal, Boris was no fool. I do feel something when I look at the 2 artifacts we discovered. It's most likely simply nervousness, for I am unused to carrying such burdens alone. My parents believed that royal hands should be free of calluses, so I always relied on servants for everything, right up until the moment I snuck off to college. I don't think I can ever return to that life, not after all I've seen. Trent, my friend, your sacrifice was not in vain. At long last, I have found the third artifact we sought. It took me many failed expeditions, but to get lost is to learn the way. For every wrong turn, I mapped out a new part of these caverns, and now I know them as well as I know myself. I will gather my creatures and head for the terminal in the morning. If Boris's notes were right, these artifacts should be able to activate it. I'm not sure what will happen after that, but it can't be worse than the fate that awaits me here. If only the others were alive to see this. If only I'd been able to save them too. Now that I've gathered all three artifacts together as I travel to the terminal, I feel a pull in my mind. No, a whisper. If this is what Boris was speaking of, then he wasn't mad at after all. There is a voice here. There is a master. What is it? A spirit? A god? Or some alien force? Whatever it is, its presence is heavy. Though I am well rested, every time I hear it, I grow tired. My pets feel it too. And even they know enough to be afraid. My hands are shaking as I write this. Only the memory of those who died for this moment pushes me forward. Rusty, Amelia, Boris and Trent, lend me your strength. Let us face this final challenge together. Abandon hope. Do not seek the master. No one could prepare for his limitless power. No one could fathom his terrible majesty. I've been a fool this whole time. All of us have. We were nothing but fools. We never had a chance of surviving this terrible place. Only death awaited us in the end. Only him. This is the prison with no exit. It is an endless hell. There is no escape from the master. There is no escape from Rockwell. Far out, this place is kind of like that dream I had. So it went like this. I ride some tram thing to like the biggest, weirdest zoo in the universe, right? Only instead of normal animals, they're dinosaurs. Totally cool. Until they all escaped, just like in every horror movie ever made. Duh. Anyway, Dream Me hops into a truck with some ripped, badass dudes, and we're just driving around, shooting dinosaurs and stuff. I felt like a legit action hero. So I guess this place isn't exactly the same. There's dinosaurs, but I don't have guns or a truck. Also, I'm completely alone. But it's still just a dream, right? I mean, obviously, I don't even know why I'm writing this down. It's all in my head. All I need to do is walk off that cliff and I'll wake up right before I hit the ground. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot more about the lore of Aberration through the eyes of the graduate students. And with that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.